for Tonebase. Okay.
Okay. Hey, TY.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of questions I have.
Mm.
So when you're moving to a new string, does your arm and elbow move, or does the wrist get raised and lowered?
Great question. So the question is when you're shifting strings, what leads your position to reposition? Is like the wrist or like this, right? Like the elbow or the wrist,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah. Both ways. And when I practice, I try to only move my wrist position, and I fix my elbow because I'm going like up and down, up and down. I need to, if I go draw back and I need to go up is very difficult, but draw back is easier. But in music, if you play a big descending scale, it's actually easier. You keep the same angles and you draw back like this, like boom and end. That probably is more comfortable. So that's both ways. And one important thing is about this angle, the wrist angle. So of course we cannot play like this. It's not cannot. It's like for me, I feel it's not the best way to play very low wrist. Have a higher wrist, but not too high. So when we play the first string, our reach is further away from here, right? So our wrist can be pretty much flat, and you feel comfortable when you play a string. It naturally goes into the second string, and then you gradually lift this angle up a little bit, and when you're on the 5 and 6, your wrist is pretty much maximized, like a very big angle like this already.
Right.
This will be too uncomfortable. So it's like there's a range of this going on. Yeah.
Okay, so now this is in connection with the same process. How do the fingers and hand get muscle memory to know the micro changes in position when moving to the different strings? Because you're actually moving very, very tiny movements. And in order to do it at great speed, you can't think about your hand moving. It has to know automatically.
Mm.
How does it gain that memory and be internalized? Is it through practice repetition, or is there some other method?
Yeah. So any muscle memory is built from like repetition, right? And then we want to build a good muscle memory that let's say the element must be so we're relaxed and we have control, we're comfortable, we have power, and then the movement is as small as possible and efficient. So one of ways like you can practice against a mirror, or open your computer camera just to look at yourself from the front view, the audience view. This view really helps to see, am I jumping the hand, or is my wrist angle too extreme like this? We practice like this is actually will limit our ability to control. So you want to be somewhat a little bit straighter, and also you lean a little bit left, so the two fingers can have the same amount of reach instead of middle finger always jump. And after you see all those elements are kind of implemented into your form and movement, and you can gradually, very slowly, practice. Like for example, one of the ways you can practice 5 notes per string. The reason is this: if you play 5 notes, it's always odd number. When you change string, it's always a different one. So for example, like I am, I am. No left hand, just right hand. I should have kind of told you guys this in the video as well. So at the beginning, we practice just open strings and then 5 notes per string. So you guys can try that. So you only focus on the movement of right hand. So you want to make it easy as easy as possible. Very simple, just this. And then one important thing is like when you prepare lifting out, you lift from the big leg. Imagine this is our leg. So this is a pelvis, knee, and ankles. So we lift from the big leg, and then the knee will naturally bend, and then we go. So you always operate from here, because sometimes I see like when we start practice, we kick out from here. It's like down, down, we kick from the fingertip, and that's not as comfortable. Go from so you're essentially almost kind of moving in a circle like this. It's like play, lifting, play, lifting like this. And you kind of, every time you practice open strings, you think about all the details, different parts. And, like once you feel, okay, I feel it looks comfortable, it feels comfortable, and gradually, and you can add left hand and add speed. And then in that process, we're forming our own like form, like the track, how we want to run the fingers. Yeah.
Okay. So now, does the condition of the nails
Yeah, great question.
affect the scales and cross string movements?
Yes.
And also, what specific micro mesh paper do you use?
Oh
And
my
do you
God.
have a link?
I have to tell you guys this. Okay.
Yes.
Everywhere I go, I'm like a missionary of this of this sandpaper.
So how do you get that?
Oh, okay. Try it on eBay or Amazon. Can you take a screenshot of this, maybe?
Take a,
Yeah. So it
this
is.
is recorded, correct?
Oh
This,
yes, yes.
so we can play back and
Yeah,
look.
yeah. So you can Google this one, Tamiya
Tamiya,
E2000. That's it.
Hey,
Tamiya.
Barney.
I'll do this
Got
one.
it.
Okay,
Got it.
got it.
All right.
So Tamiya 2000.
Got it.
Okay, I'm gonna take it away. So every package is, I don't know, $5. They have 3 sheets. The new sheets comes like this. So what I do is this. And also, if you guys haven't used it, the best nail filer I've ever tried is the Strings by Mail, the long one. It's like $10. This one, just I broke too many. Don't drop it. So that's why I wrap something here. So if you drop, it's like a little bit soft. So after I file this, the reason I love this is it's really efficient. Like you go and you can feel like it's digging into your nail, and also it leaves a very smooth surface. So it's the best. And whenever you use for a long while, there's some nail stuck in there, you just use like this sanitizer, you put on there and you rub it, it's new again. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so this, after you file this, you use a new piece of the sandpaper. It's 2000. It sounds really rough, right? It's actually okay. It's not. You file all the, like, I don't call it debris or something, like the white thing. Like you file smooth, right? And then you, after you use a while, you become dark, like a dark brown. And this will become your polish nail file. I mean sandpaper. And you will like, I don't know if you can hear. It's like you can hear like a da 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 da, and then it's almost become like black. And this I always use 2, so one new and then one old, and you can always like cycle. And this is so great, and it makes your nail feels, oh my, like nobody hates it after they use it.
Okay,
And it's
awesome.
really cheap. It's actually, I really urge you to give it a try. Because we help see those like micro mesh and then 3Ms. Sometimes like when I do that, like it creates like some kind of like a sound. It makes me feel, like like your fingernail scratching the like the blackboard or something. But
Right.
I give it a try. And also, if you ever, this is not a question, but just something I remember. If you ever find that, oh, my fingernail feels so great, it feels so smooth, and then and it's actually really like it's smooth, and then the angle, everything's great, but like my sound sounds very nasal and then just not clean. It's mostly is here. the right side, the release side, outside. I think I talked about it last time. So you file the outside, right side. You file this part clean, and then your sound will be very, very round normally. Okay.
Right.
Oh my God. Thank you. Is it Kaylin or Kali? I don't know how to say your first name. But thank you.
Colleen, yeah, that's the link from Amazon. You can order it. I just found it now. So
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for the link. Yeah.
I guess the last quick question is cross-string trills. Is that something you have time to speak about with us, or is that to show, in other words, some tips about your technique in doing cross-string trills and how to practice them?
Yeah. Cross strings, cross string trails. Many methods, and then different, people we found out with different methods of fingerings, but these are one that I know. You guys can try, okay? So, if we just do two strings, like this kind of trills, if you have normally, okay, two plans. Plan A is A I M P A I M P A I M P, and another way is A M I P. Is this okay? So one is A I M P loop, another is A M I P loop. You can just constantly loop them. And another way is, for example, what if we're trailing on the trebles and they have a bass? It's like we have some bass going on, and then we cannot use our thumb. Then it becomes this. It's pretty much only one way. So A I M I. Try this. So A I M I A I M I. If you only have four notes, da 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 da, only four. You can use any of the three, and then Professor Rene is scared of pass on this one. I cannot do it. Just two fingers. So I M. Yeah, that was really, really fascinating. That's another way. What are the other ways? Do you guys know any other ways that you picked up in your experience? Some trails you can share with everyone.
I basically just use the three finger because I keep my thumb free. But when I practice them, I practice starting with A, but then I also will practice starting with I, because sometimes you need to try, and it's just once you're going, it's all the same, but starting feels different. So I do kind of try to get both ways going on that.
No, so sometimes like da 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 da, starting from the lower note, right?
Yeah, well, if I'm and that's what I like. I'll set to a metronome and go.
That's good. Yes. Yeah.
And so that way it kind of gets, so I can, if I'm approaching it from above or below, I have at least some ability to do that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jack. Yeah, it's like, yes, sometimes we go from like dee da dee da, like we go from the lower note. So we can start from like index finger, like da 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 da, like this. Oh, and there's another way, it's like, for example, in Baroque practice, sometimes we have, it's like da da dee or dee da da. And how I practice is like this. So I practice the last three notes together and play them as fast as possible. And then I add the first note. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I add them together, it naturally forms like a di-ya-ya. So the first note is a little bit longer. And then I can speed up the last three notes very fast. For example, like, so the fingering is I, A, I, M. So I just practice first A, I, M. And then like that way. I don't know if I demonstrated well. So if you have a 4-note trio, a lot of times I practice the ending first, the last 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just practice 2, 3, 4. So it will be A, I, M, and then I add everything, and then I, A, I, M, like this. Okay, this is another way to practice the trios in music.
By the way, last comment. The exercises that you provided for us were great. I've never done these before, but I saw Adam Del Monte's name there. Did you have flamenco training with Adam where he
Yes.
passed on those to you?
Yes, he gave me so much trainings that I wish I knew when I started to practice classical guitar.
Right.
It feels like everyone deserves to, know all of these things. Like, well, for classical guitar, we only do normal scales. We only do like. But the thing is, that's kind of like in between music and pure exercise, because in that, and then he was asking me, okay, so what do you think the hardest part in playing a scale? I was like, what is like cross string? I was like, oh, okay, because the cross string is our weakest point. It's like the welding between two things.
Right.
And whenever we cross string, we feel, oh my god, these cross strings. It's like. I didn't practice one wake up today. So it's like whenever we go the scales, if we just continue on the one string, we're okay. Once we cross string, we feel, oh my god, like it's a little bit scary, it's dangerous. And then how do we do it? And then so he created like so much more. This is just 3 of many exercises that just jumping around, comfortable and uncomfortable anyway. And then when you can make these feel comfortable and you go back to music, it's so much easier, so much more control.
So does that make it so that when you're practicing pieces, you don't have to worry about marking fingerings for positive, negative changes because it doesn't matter anymore?
Almost doesn't matter anymore. Of course, in the music, we always want to have the fingerings the most, like the, like ultimate best fingerings, avoid
Easiest.
backward shift. But once in a while, we'll have to have 2, 1 or 2 in the big scale run. So it's good to have this skill. And also, it will make your normal scale shift feel much easier as well. It's so much better after this. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Mm.
Really appreciate your help. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And I actually have a follow-up question to what Barney just asked. So actually, of course, these exercises are meant to be difficult, so then we can build the skill. But when you play actually a fragment, a piece, for example, let's say you are going down, and it's a cross ring where you actually have to reach out with the eye. Are you actually helping yourself with the A instead of putting the I, because probably you go I am, and instead of going I on a cross string, are you using actually A to make it easier and avoid the crossing in a real piece?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. I think, yeah, sometimes, for example, like you are rotating until it's like, oh, and I need to go higher. Sometimes we just use
Right.
the A finger to help, right?
Right.
Is a good method. Is a great method. If it's like a very elegant passage, I think it helps a lot. But if you go like very hard like that, maybe the A finger will have like a weak point. It's better to keep I and M.
Different sound.
Yeah, it's
Also
not
different
it's like
sound.
you will feel like suddenly it's like the balance is kind of
Mhm.
maybe it's not as easy to control. It's interesting because when I was practicing the number 7, the valuables, I was using 3 fingers, and clearly it is easier and faster. But at the end, I went back to I and M. Why? It has a distinct character to I and M, and you can feel the confidence and the power, the drive. It's like the engine. Like it feels different. the sound like that. Oh my, it's just like flawless. Versus like it's kind of like, okay, I can go, but it's a little bit fragile sometimes. Other fingers with a finger, but it depends on the situation. Sometimes a perfect place for a finger is great, and it's great. I use that a lot of times. Yeah.
And actually, not only when you go up, you have to reach cross string up to a higher string, but when you go down, for example, if I and then I have to go on the lower string M, are you actually just sliding like you showed us? Use the same finger to slide and then go. I know in flamenco they do a lot this.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
From what I heard.
This is Pepe Romero's method a lot. He made it. I
Mhm.
mean, not he made it, but he's known for doing it. Like I, and then keep going. Just like
Right.
like reset the pattern. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I was going to mention before about the, I've got a local hobby shop where they sell model supplies and all of that. And that's where I found all the micromesh finishing pads and all the papers and all of that. So if you're looking for something local, you might check out like a hobby shop.
Oh, hobby shop. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. Oh, so okay, great. So if you have any questions, jump in. Okay. Now maybe I can talk about metronome. Okay. Question: when you guys practice, normally say if you practice this, maybe you don't know, you don't use metronome yet, but if you do, how many speeds normally are you doing normally? Just I have a question. I don't know, like say like 1, 3, 5. I don't know how many normally we do. Just want to ask.
I don't use metronome too much. I have to admit. Sorry. I know it's not a good practice, but yeah, sorry.
Okay, so for example, what if I don't know if do you mind, Barney, if you pick up the guitar and be our example, and we will help you set your metronome today.
I don't have my guitar available right
Okay.
now
Yeah.
with me, but I have not been using the metronome yet
Oh.
because I haven't really mastered it, the notes and everything, especially the new ones.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but
Okay. Great. Okay, it's okay. Don't worry. How about okay? I'll just use myself as an example. Okay, so I'm going to try to say okay. I mean, once a week, I kind of test myself, and so I know what I practice for next week. Okay, so now I'm gonna teach myself. So starting speed is the speed that you feel comfortable and you can pay attention, be aware of every single thing, and then you still feel engaged and not bored. Okay, let's try this. We're starting from 84. A little bit slower. Okay. Oh, if you play along, would you try mute yourself first? Okay.
So sorry.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 62. I'm not gonna finish this thing. Okay. So I feel 62 is something I can practice always, even if I just wake up or just came back home from very cold weather. Okay, and now because it's slow, I can go faster. So let's go 70. Around 10 because right now it's slow. 1 against 2. Admit. So now 70. Good. good. Now 80. They're all good. Okay, so now 90. Okay, and now let's keep going. 110. And in this slower speeds, I very favor 1 against 2 because you can do this and then do as abrupt as possible. It don't do like, okay, do like this. But training the reflex of your muscles be very fast. Okay, now at the average speed, when you do the dotted rhythm, do 3 times. So flat and dotted, reverse dotted. Okay, so something like this. Like this is 120. So it's like first is do flat and then dotted and then and that is 1 speed and then keep going. Okay, I will just keep going. Okay, now let's say I'm keep testing. This is 180. And see if I can do the dotted. Okay, and then you keep going. Once you hit 200, 200 is too busy dot. After you play 200, like, and you can go back to 1 against 4 now. And normally on 1 against 4, I don't do any dotted. So this is the 100. Okay, 100, and just 4 notes. Like, now it's just flat. So it's like, for example, if you practice, say, okay, 100 to 200, 10 speeds. Every speed you do like flat, dotted, reverse dotted, 3 times each. Go through all that, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And then now you go back to 100. Now it's 1 against 4 now. Okay, so. And when we practice, now 110. If you can practice with forte, don't do mezzo forte. Always go very deep and very firm. So don't, like, if you can practice, like, don't practice like this, like, not like this. Rather, it's like, very powerful. Okay, 120, and then soon I will reach a spot where I cannot play the speed. I cannot keep up. Like, it's kind of shaky. And once we reach that point, and okay, so say like 150, I'm shaky. And then you go back to 140 to check. If 140 you can play flawlessly, but you're on edge, but you can maintain the quality, then this next week, you can practice until 140. That's your highest speed to practice, okay? So now it's 120, so. That's pretty shaky already. Say 130 now, I'm shaky now, so I'm gonna go back to say 125. Okay, so this week I'm going to practice. At the beginning I was way too low. I'm starting from 60. So maybe you can start with 100, 1 against 2, to 200, 1 against 2, and you play the normal dotted, reverse dotted, and then go back to 100, 1 against 4, 100, and maybe like 105, 110, 115, 120, 125. Okay, that's a lot of speed. And once you hit 125, that's not the end. After you play 125, you go back a lot. Let's try 105 to cool down the muscle and to, because when we practice faster, like our movement will be compromised a little bit. So you go back maybe to slower speed to regain the control. Okay, so now after 125, highest speed, I go 105. And now even lower, now 80, like a big jump, like 20, 30 numbers. Okay, and now we call it end. That's the ending of this exercise. Okay, so you climb up all the way very, very fast, and then you drop to big speeds, and then you can end. It's like after you run very fast and you need to kind of slowly jog for like a mile before we stop. Okay, yeah, that's how I suggest we practice like this. Okay, Barney, a question?
Yes, on that. Do you feel that the key element in gaining that speed are those dotted rhythms? That particular part to get that reflex going and neurologically?
I don't know.
Or how did you play like Sabikis?
Speak.
Yeah, that's got fast scale, you know,
Yeah.
original.
Okay. The correct movement that's the basic, like correct movement. So when you play very slowly, like the open 5 notes, like, and you can try to feel like you are leaning on the bottom strings, like touching 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and then 5, 5, 5 is home. It's like the string that you're resting into is like home. Like you're going home. It's like you're resting here. Really go into that string. Let that string to stop you, your finger. Like you're playing the 4th string, but actually you're playing the 5th string. Like you're going to 5 like that. Kind of you penetrate drive right through the 4. Like 4 doesn't mean anything. You go to 5, and then you have the sound, like like punchy sound, and the sound is very direct and decisive. You kind of go to 5 when you play 4, and then that is one of the thinking. You go through it, and when you're lifting, as I said before, lifting from the 3rd joint, from here, and once you train that like very fundamental muscle movement, and you create a muscle memory, and you go a little bit faster, and you can try da-da, da-da, da-da with a lower speed. For example, if I do 80, it's like, or and then just go very slowly, and then gradually I think will be trained.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much like secret or theory to it. I think mostly is movement is correct, and then gradually build up speed. Never jump speed too much. And
Are
then
you
a lot of us, no?
Are you accenting notes along the way, or are you trying to keep it even?
Everything
Other than
similar,
dynamics.
yeah, similar, equally powerful. Yeah,
Okay.
I think a lot of us, is like once we learn something, like I see many guitars, like we just play one speed for everything. And when we practice, like everything, like we start, okay, this exercise every day, I pick up the guitar, I run through like one speed, and tomorrow same speed. Like we don't vary like the training, like stretch the training to different speed. And once you start to do that, improvement is easy. It just maybe a month or something, you'll see the difference, big difference.
Do
Right.
you think, oh,
I'm sorry, just one last thing, the triplets.
Hmm.
Same thing with the metronome, click on the first beat,
Oh, triplet.
threes.
Triplet, I don't do dotted.
No
Triplet,
metronome?
just triplet, metronome. Triplet is either 1 against 1 or 1 against 3. I don't know. I will check if Martin published the next two exercises yet. The second exercise is triplet, but you can practice 1 against 2 as well. So the second exercise is this. Wait. Oh, Jax, can you remember your question? Do you want to ask now?
oh, okay. I mean, it might be somewhat related. Typically, when I practice scales, I will do with the metronome going 2 to the beat, 3 to the beat, 4 to the beat.
Yeah.
I haven't done that with this, but I just kind of ran through it, and it seems like it would work to, like on the double, the thirds, that if you started going 2 per beat and then go 3 per beat, which kind of keeps shifting where the beat is.
Yeah.
And that always seems to kind of help me keep things even, if you understand what I'm saying. Do you have any impressions of that?
No, you mean like 3 notes, like yeah, that's a great practice.
It requires a lot
yeah.
of concentration.
Yes, yes, yeah, very similar with the, because normally we try to make everything against 2, so we can do the dotted rhythm as a group of 2. So the next exercise is this. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Basically, we insert the middle note in between this exercise, like this, and then this is second exercise, and then we can do 1 against 2, like this. So it's like we're playing 1 against 2, but it's a group of 3. It's like da 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 da, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. So we can do this, right? So we can now finally play the dotted rhythm. Otherwise, if we play like this is a comfortable 1 against 3, and but it's like we can't do the dotted then. So we put it into 2. We can do that sometimes. Yeah.
So when you play the Aranjuez scales, there are lots of triplets in that.
Yeah.
Going in different directions. Do you have any particular mental strategy when, I guess, grouping those notes, or do you try to just keep them even and in time?
Okay, so in music, there are either it's like the meter is like 2 4 4 4 or like 3 8 6 8 9 8. In the second movement, all the rounds are in triplets.
Yes.
Like it's like I forgot that piece, but it's something like that. Like that thing.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So you can see I'm doing 3 finger.
Or using 3 fingers.
I'm putting the wrong notes, but that's the idea. And then in the third movement, everything is in 4 4 4 4 4. So I'm not gonna use 3 fingers. It's just 2 fingers. And then
Right.
then there, or just adding slurs. Maybe like sometimes you add a slur here or there to make the shift comfortable. And so on triplets, there is just one thing we don't know. It's like because the scale is just a running scale, but how you form it in fingerings is so many different ways. There's one way you can do it is like if you want to do if the music is in triplets, you finger it 3 notes per string, and it's actually really simple. There's only 3 variations. It's like 1 2 4, and 1, 3, 4, or that's the two whole notes. So 1, 2, 4, the stretch. So 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. And if you just use these fingerings, they can work with any normal scales. Like 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. It's like anything can work with these three combinations. And right hand, you can just do 3 fingers. And then that will speed up the scales in music.
Yeah, I've just been following Angel Romero's fingering. I'm not sure if you're using that or
I
you
don't
don't
Probably
remember.
not. Yeah, you mean that is the score he arranged, right? Like
Yes.
yes. Oh yeah, I was studying with that score as well. But yeah, second movement I didn't use his fingerings. I did like that is the slur, and then A M I. Something like that. Just like A M I for second movement.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that one as well. Like starting with AMI, just try that. It will feel like, ooh, it's actually a lot easier than INM. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Maybe it's not related to like cross-string or anything. Like anything you guys want to ask or something.
Usually, how long you spend on warming up before you start playing pieces for your repertoire?
It's probably 1 hour, and it depends. And then the material is more than 1 hour. But if you say, okay, today I'm gonna start practice, so there are things for left hand and things for right hand. So I balance those. So like if I feel these days my left hands are weak, I'll practice maybe more left hand, vice versa. For left hand, yeah, I do probably 1 hour. So left hand, I first start with vibrato, like, and right hand, right stroke and free stroke. Try to create the same sound. So it's like right stroke, free stroke, like same depth, same tone, everything. And then I vibrato on the mid range of the neck, so it's like the best for the movement around 5th fret, around to 8, and that's a twinkle twinkle little star. After that, I do change fret and change 2 frets, the flexibility, and then change strings. It's like up and down precision, and then more string. And then the spider exercise, I think from pumping nylon. And stretching the fingerings. If you want to do more, you can add vibrato. Really loosen up all the muscles and the bones. You're holding different positions that need to be flexible. And all of that, and then hammer and slur, And then hammer and slur. Okay, and then I do the right hand cross strings. And there's also this exercise. I think I recorded for Tonebase as a video before. Is the 3-finger scale. That one. Last one is the. And you can run this on any. I run it only on the C major scales, so you can do higher frets as well, like this. D. Or just you can start with any note on the bass, and then you go up and down 3 notes per string, and then loosen up everything like left hand and right hand coordination, how they synchronize with each other, and you can also use that to do 2 fingers as well. That would be 3 notes per string. Like, it's like, and so every time it's different shift. So, and after that, you probably will be warmed up on that. Oh, and then also a flamenco arpeggio study. How about, okay, I'll play this once, and so you can have it in the recording. I really love this one. You need to play it with like the maximum volume. Okay, so it's like this. So I need to show you my left hand fingers. This is chord progression also by Professor Adam DeMonte. You can do with this or any variations you want. Okay, so 5th string, 4th string, okay, and then in this, and next one. So 2, 4, open 3, 1, 0. This is normal. That's it. This is a chord progression, and you can just run that several times, but maximum volume on every single finger, and then like equal, and then even in rhythm, and yeah, pretty much warmed up. So I know, yeah.
Do you do tremolo in your warm up, or that's separate?
Oh, that would be separate. Like if I play tremolo, it would be tremolo by tremolo, and tremolo. I practice on 2nd string, which is first 10 measures of the recordos de Alhambra. Because everything is on the second. Like that one is harder. So this first 10 measures on that, and you run your speed. You know, for example, like 100, 200, and then 100 from 150, and you use that 10 measure to do all the training with metronome, and then that's probably 30 minutes, and then that's done. And you can go to play the tremolo music you are trying to practice, and then the tremolo will be ready. All you need to do is just like learning the music. Yeah. So when you practice tremolo, is you practice the tremolo scale. Wait, I can't speak English now. Scales with the 10 measures of the recordos with speed, and then you go to music, and you only can worry about the phrasing, dynamics, color, and then what I want, like that. Yeah, fingerings. Yeah, if we use tremolo piece to practice, it will take forever. It's too long. Yeah.
And how do you learn the music?
How do I learn music? In what kind of music? You mean the tremolo music or
A new piece.
a new piece?
A new piece.
Oh, fingering. For example, okay, so every piece have their own styles, and thus they have their own method of fingerings. If, for example, contemporary piece will be different, and then say like a Baroque piece or some very legato like romantic piece. So first is you learn the genre of the music, or what it's supposed to be, the style, and by listening to many, the same composer or the same piece played by different instrument, or like just guitar players, and then so you have an idea how to finger them or work with a teacher, and then you go from beginning to end. You need to set your fingerings as good as you can get, and then after you set the fingering, you practice them. That's the hardest stage of learning a piece, is the beginning few days. Set fingerings, everything, and I write everything down, and you will always find new ways to update the fingerings, or there might be one spot you have 2 or 3 fingerings possible. You need to see, like sometimes you need to decide, is it easier fingering, but I need to sacrifice continuous voice, or this is harder fingering. I can maintain all the voice, but it is super hard for me to get it right. And then you need to ask yourself, is this piece slow or fast? If it's fast, I probably go with the first way. Like sacrifice a little bit of voicing, but I'll be safe and then play faster. If it's a very difficult fingering and it's fast piece, it will probably not work. So it's a lot of decisions in the fingering. Fingering is probably the most essential thing, because if your fingering is not right, you're practicing, like, I don't know, like you have to change what you practiced after. And if you hit a difficult spot, go to maybe YouTube to check out what other people play in that spot, and then that will help us just to have more, oh, he did it this way, or oh, look at, like, she did it like in such like, wow, it's like I never would think like that. Think like that. Like everybody will have their own methods, but like every fingering need to have like a reason to back up that fingering, almost. Yeah. But if it's very easy spot, then probably it doesn't matter. But when it's hard, difficult, for example, Bach or something, like every finger need to have like a reason why I did this. Yeah. Yeah. Is there any fingerings? Well, not any finger. Any questions or something? Yeah, I'm happy to discuss. And yeah, if not, we can log off from Zoom. But I'm here. Like if you have anything you want to discuss.
So I guess I've had troubles with doing left-hand trills, especially with the little finger, either 3 and 4 or 2 and 4.
Yes. Okay, so left hand, if it's a closed fret, for example, you can use the like the 3, 2, and then yes, okay. If your fourth finger, I don't know how many are there. If it's just a 4 note, or it's like 6, 8 notes, that would be very hard. Like that's gonna be really hard. And then you can use not the finger, you can use your hand. Maybe use your hand, wrist to help. It's like bigger muscle. And also, if it's just 4, similar method with what I said before. Practice the ending, and then it's become easier. Yeah, just like practice the ending and then add the first note. Normally, the first note in a trio is slightly longer, so like da di da di, like that, or da di da di da di di, something like that. Yeah, but 4/3 is so difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it shows up in I think in Los Trigales, the Rodrigo piece. In Los Trigales, I think that's the one there where he's got something going on, but then he has like a little trill over with you having to use 3 and 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, another thing is like keep the fingernails shorter, very short, so it doesn't have so much resistance from the flesh. And also, try to practice that whenever we slur, we use very little flesh on the fingertip. Not too thick. If not very thick, you feel so much like resistant to plug. If you press right in the tip, and then just only little flash, like boom, it's much easier. If you can, when you practice, like practice very carefully, have like a form a line closer to the fingertip, and then it will be much easier to have faster actions as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
So what is the shape of your left-hand fingernail?
Shape.
Is it completely flat?
This one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Normally I just it's a little bit flat on the top, but it's round. It's like a round shape. So I cut my nails, from one side to another. It's like dot 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 dot, like many little cut. I don't do like a big cut like that. I always go to like from one side, like cut, and it's like a circle, like a curved line, and then I use like a file to file it a little bit. I just run the file once, maybe. So it will be smoother.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no like sharp edges. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else in this question? Okay. Yeah, just like, oh yeah, full question.
Okay. Am I on? Okay, so TY, vibrato.
Mm.
Do you use a special, your own special method of getting the best vibrato possible with your with wrist movement, or is it mostly back and forth with the arm?
Oh,
I know
it
you
is,
do it with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but
yeah.
what is the movement to get that beautiful vibrato?
Oh, the vibrato come from, I do from here, drives everything. And because it's the most natural. For example, if you want to accelerate or retard the vibrato, like sometimes you do like, right? Like, and then if you only do from fingertip, it sounds a little bit, I don't know the word, it sounds a little bit artificial. It's like suddenly you go, because when the weight or when the distance is greater, everything you do will be the transferring time, and then you'll be, you know, because if the weight is more here and also the distance is longer, everything is more natural. When you do more and do softer, it sounds more musical in some way. It's like da like this. But if you only do the fingertip, sometimes it sounds too much edges. Like suddenly it goes somewhere, and then like the shape of the vibration will be sometimes too abrupt. So I do with the wrist, and also it actually the most easy, because like the wrist will lead your fingertip, so you nearly don't need to do anything because it's heavy. Just use the wrist to swing.
So are you actually rotating the forearm, or are you
So the elbow is fixed, and
the
then the
elbow's
fingertip
fixed?
is fixed. You rotate
It is
halfway, and
rotating,
then you throw it left and right, and then the fingertip will kind of drag like this.
right? But the wrist and hand and forearm are in a straight line,
Oh, a
and you're
little bit out.
rotating.
Yeah, a little bit out, and you go left, right, and then go with travel a greater distance if you could when you practice. Like, if you can do this, don't do just like this is too limited, and then it's not like this. It's more like a little bit like half moon shape, like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Whether it's treble strings or bass strings,
Yeah. Oh,
same.
treble strings. If we have like for example, like this, you can add another finger to help for the grip. But the method of movement is same, but you just need another finger.
Support.
Yeah, just add more fingers for the grip.
Like the
So,
Scriabin
yeah.
piece.
Yeah. Otherwise, just like one finger is like not so much there. Yeah.
Not enough weight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay. So yeah. See you guys in the what do you call it? Like discussion groups, discussion forums on Tonebase. Then yeah.
But sorry, you mentioned there is a fourth exercise, TY.
Oh, what?
There is a fourth exercise that you are gonna post there.
Yeah, now it's 3. Let's get the 3, and then the last one is basically the last one is the exercise for is this one. The last one is bonus, is basically that's one a little bit harder to learn, but I'll just play it here once. Okay, the last one is this. I am. Okay, so I use this one. I taught this one in the video before for IMA scales, you know, like a Tonebase video. But I'm also using this for INM. It's actually really good for INM because odd number strings, odd number like 3 notes per string, so it's always different. So starting from second string, G, D, and then A. Every string 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then E. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 notes. down like that, and then yeah, that's the whole thing. And just with these two, reverse, like it doesn't matter which one you start because we always shift. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you use Rasciatos in your practice or warm up?
No, I
You're not
don't.
playing.
Yeah,
You're
but
not playing.
yeah, if you do like a flamenco, you can you do like yeah, you do that rascato for flamenco. Yeah.
But do you do that to help your scale playing, to strengthen extensor muscles, or
I
not
think
really?
that could help. That could help. Yeah. Well,
Got it.
I think yeah, we are going back. It's actually helping you to play in because like into going out to prepare the next strokes. Yeah. That's probably one of the reasons I feel flamenco players their ability is so much more faster and stronger because they do rascato so much.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you very much for all the information and all the tips. And
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And okay, hope you guys enjoy the
Yeah.
week. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, TY
Thank you.
and group.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.